All right, let's look at Thief Julie here. Out of compassion, Julie gives $500 to charity for starving children. And inspired by her example, many other students donate to the charity money that they were going to spend partying. However, in order to obtain the money she donated, Julie stole it from a rich stranger's purse. The stranger has so much money that she never even realizes it's missing. And as a result of Julie's actions, many children are fed. Okay, so here, consequences are good. Starving children get fed. There's a chain reaction from Julie's initial action that causes other students to take money that was going to be spent frivolously on partying and instead donating it to feed starving children, right? So there's this really significant series of consequences that occur because of Julie's actions. And apparently she was motivated with good intentions, right? She felt compassion. She wanted those kids to be fed. And we know in this particular situation, the woman who was stolen from is so rich that she doesn't even notice the money's missing. So did Julie do something that's morally permissible, or did she do something that's morally impermissible? And you want to ask yourself things like this. Am I saying that what Julie did was wrong because she stole? Or am I saying something like, well, even though Julie stole, she stole it from somebody who had so much money that the person didn't even notice it and therefore wasn't harmed by it? And think about that question, because if you think that the wealth of the woman being stolen from bears on the morality of Julie's actions, then that would be an indication that you don't necessarily see stealing or lying in the previous scenario. You don't necessarily see actions in themselves as having inherent moral worth. In some situations, stealing may be morally permissible. In other situations, it may not be. Same thing with looking at the consequences here. Do the consequences of the stealing justify the stealing? Okay, so do the consequences weigh here? If Julie had stole the money out of compassion, and all the rest of the scenario played out as it's described here, but the other students didn't respond in kind by also donating, and the money that Julie stole was spent on a party instead of to those starving children, would that change your judgment of what Julie did? Do the consequences bear on the question of whether or not stealing was wrong for Julie to do? Okay. What about the intent? She seems to be motivated by a good intention, compassion. She wants those hungry kids fed. Is it morally permissible to do things like steal if our intention is a good one? All right? So again, see how you're identifying these four elements here, or prioritizing these four elements as you assess Julie's actions, and maybe compare how you're assessing Julie's actions with how you assessed Tasha's actions. Tasha lies, Julie steals. One has bad consequences, the other has good consequences. They both have good intentions. Are you prioritizing situation, intention, action, and consequence in these two scenarios in a similar way?